Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel, TammyTalks here. We're here tonight to talk Kings of Napa, Season 1, Episode 3, What's Pork Got to Do With It? If you're brand new to my channel, or if you're just coming back from last week, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you don't miss any of my future uploads and all that good stuff, right? And then hop into the comment section down below so we can kind of talk about the episode as well. I feel like I'm super close to the camera. All right, so I thought the episode was filler. It wasn't a whole lot that went on with it. It seemed like they want to move to the next storyline, so they just kind of threw this all together, at least to me. But let's go ahead and get started. So it starts off with August. She's on the phone with Bridget, leaving her a voicemail telling her that, I know things are rocky between the two of us, but I miss you, we're family. I'm still gonna, figure this out and sort all this stuff out together. Just, she needs some time. So while she's leaving that voicemail, we see a woman coming in riding a bike. And we find out that this is Grace. Grace apparently used to be one of the winemakers for the Kings. And she is I think, or maybe she has done one or two wines for them, designer wines. But she's big shit. She's done wines for Jay-Z and the Obamas and just all of this kind of stuff. So she is somebody in the wine game. So August is begging her to come back. Grace says she doesn't want to do it. She's retired. August called her there under the false pretenses that she had found a ring of hers that I guess she had lost there. So she's able to convince her to come back to do one more wine in honor of their father to get the company, back into the black. So we then see Vanessa is seemingly over. She's seemingly over her husband and Melanie sleeping together. So she's downstairs, putting together some flowers. Christian comes down. They have a little talk or whatever. And he was you're looking good. You get your swag going. He's trying to big up his mom. And she's it's fine. It's over. It's old news. This, we got to move past that. I got things to do. I got shit to do. This place only runs because of me. And if I'm not, at my best, then this can't be at its best. But it's very fake. You can tell she's still very bothered by it. And for good reason. No one would be completely shocked if... Or no one would be no one would be shocked if she was still going through it, still reeling through it, still really all up in her feelings. But that's not the vibe that we're getting. She wants to portray it as if everything is perfectly fine with her now. We then find out that Christian is bipolar. So she is worried about him getting too stressed out with being one of the vineyard managers. It's a stressful job. We have to make sure everything is done exactly right, yada, yada, yada. So she's concerned about how he's going to deal with that stress of that. He said it's fine. He has his bipolarism under control, so nothing to worry about. Dana and August are talking to a PI. So they hired a private investigator who happens to be one of Dana's, seems frat brothers. And he tells them that he's willing to work with them, but in order for him to keep it super discreet, it's going to cost them an extra $1,000. And I thought that was odd, because why would it cost my private investigator extra money for you to keep what you found just between me and you? That didn't make sense at all. And I feel if you're going to charge me for discretion, then we just don't need to work together. Because that's stupid. That is stupid, honestly. But whatever. So they decide that they can't pay him extra because Grace keeps texting Dana with all these lists of demands and requirements that she has. And a lot of the stuff she's asking for is $5,000 and up. And it's because she's asking for these very expensive, luxurious things, really for the comfort of what she needs, or for her comfort level while she is working out in the vineyard. So we see August is in one of the hallways in their compound, and she's practicing like manifestations and stuff like that. And then she ends up running into Kelvin. Kelvin tells her like, you lied about this negotiation that we worked out with Melanie for these payments. You dropped the ball. It's making me look like a bad lawyer. Like, we can't have that. August promises to like not do that. She apologizes. She said things came up. She's really just trying to think of what is going to be best for everybody, all while saving the vineyard at the same time. So they end up setting up a date because, as we know, they're going to rekindle their long lost high school love. I don't think it's going to work, but because it's definitely a conflict of interest, but they're going to go ahead and try it out. So Vanessa is in Reggie's office, and she's trying to get into his computer. I always think it's weird when I'm watching like these shows and the husband dies and the wife can't get into the computer. It's weird to me because I feel like the same thing happened on Sex in the City. When Big died, Carrie couldn't get into his computer either. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't know your husband's password, but I guess it's not as odd as it seems to me. But she's trying to get into it. She can't think of the password. She yells out for the kids. The kids don't answer, so the computer is now locked. You know how it always gives you like, try again later. You know, three times you're out. So then we see Bridget sees Dana's wife at like the little like bar, restaurant, bakery type thing that they're at. And she basically encourages Bridget to go ahead, do some interviews, live your life. August didn't give a damn about you. So like, don't do, like, so don't worry about her and all that other stuff. And on one hand, that's true. You know, don't pine away over this family. If you're that bomb of a grower or a harvester, you can go and, you know, do that somewhere else. But on the flip, it's like, y'all know Rose is only doing that because her and Dana, she's trying to have Dana's back so that they can like get control of the vineyard, because that's all Dana wants anyways. That's all Dana wants in life, is to be in control of the vineyard. So it comes across super fake. Bridget, who is like very upset with August, who's low-key bitter, it's like, well, yeah, why don't the two of us hang out? And I'm like, so y'all friends now? Now y'all friends? Come on, Bridget. Don't do that. Don't go out bad like that. Like, I think eventually they're going to bring Bridget back in as a grower. Like, and I know you got bills and stuff, girl, so I'm not saying that, but like, don't like jump the gun. Take the time to really think about what your next step is. Don't just sign up for any old vineyard just because you want to like go against them. So we see Quincy, who is the private investigator. He's walking around with Yvette, who is Reggie's sister, and she's like kind of pointing out all the stuff in the house. He's asking all these questions. He's supposed to be very discreet, so he is now just called head of security, but he's really trying to do a deep dive to find out what's going on. So he tells August that he has narrowed it down to 3 suspects. One is like somebody that was involved in the Ponzi scheme. One is the groundskeeper, and then one is someone else that he had beef with. And August was like, the groundskeeper, and that's that old man that was yelling at Christian because he bought, you know, the liquor and the chicken wings to like boost team morale. So, excuse me. So Grace runs up on August, and it's like, your brother tripping, he done hired someone else. So Dana done went behind her back and hired another is it Savant? another like wine grower to make a batch of wine so they can decide which one they're going to go with. Dana said that this guy is young, he's upcoming, he has more ideas, and on top of that, he's cheaper. We only have to pay him half of what we're having to pay Grace. Grace is all offended, and August is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we're supposed to be in this together. We're supposed to be a partnership with this. You can't suddenly decide that you want to go and do this. That, like, I'm still in charge of it. Dana was like, Dad didn't run this as a dictatorship. So whenever there is some type of creative dispute, like, this is supposed to be handled with like a family vote. So they decide that they're going to have a wine off so that the family can pick which batch of wine that they're going to go through to like push forward for the company. So Vanessa climbs in the window at Melanie's house. And I'm like, Vanessa, I don't like Vanessa. I feel bad for her in the respect that her husband was cheating on her with her sister. That's trash. But other than that, Vanessa's rubbing me the wrong way. So Vanessa hops in. She's able to break into her sister's computer easily. And she sees like a picture of them at the beach. She's upset because I guess her and Reggie never went to the beach. He told her he didn't like the sand. She hears voices because now Vanessa's home. So she hides in the closet. While she's hiding in the closet, Melanie walks in with, while she's hiding in the closet, Melanie walks in with Yvette. And they're just they're talking about Vanessa. Talking about how, we're glad, they miss Reggie because he would fix all of this stuff, but at the same time, if he was here, none of this would be going on because he probably would have been content with dying with Bridget not knowing that he was really her father. So none of this would be going on. So then Yvette was like, I still feel guilty every time I look at the child because y'all probably conceived her at my house. And I was like, that was a lot to say, Yvette. That was a lot. So, Vanessa is hearing all of this. So now Vanessa knows that Yvette really don't have her back the way that she says she did. On top of the fact that you knew that your brother was sleeping around on me with my sister, and like you never even thought to kind of have my back with it, like whatsoever. So Dana and Argus are running around, finding all the family, chasing them all down, trying to get everybody, make sure you have my vote, make sure you vote for mine. I thought it was going to be like a blind taste test. I think a blind taste test would have been better because we know how the line is going to be drawn down the middle. So they're like, it's going to be a tie, which is what Yvette told her eventually. It's going to be a tie, probably right down the middle. What do we do then? So they go and they talk to, I don't know if he was like a lawyer or something, but he says in the event of a tie, Reggie's vote goes to Bridget. So they go rushing over to Bridget's house, and I'm like, August, the audacity, because Bridget's mad at you because you won't bring her back to work at the vineyard. But Bridget probably tells them, so not only do y'all fire me, but y'all want me to pick my replacement? I would have had a fit. It would have been a fuck you to both of them. Like, why would they even ask her that? So, but she says that she'll think about what she's going to do to vote. So then we see Vanessa and Yvette. They are sitting down for like dinner. And Vanessa was like, everyone's around. Well, let's just go ahead and start eating. Let's go ahead and start eating. So they're talking, and she brings up, like, how was your sellout soul? And Yvette was like, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here because Yvette is feeling the tension. But basically, Vanessa tells her that you hear the movers, you hear them noises, you getting the hell out of my house because not only have you been talking to Melanie, but you've been lying to me all this time because you knew that they were sleeping around with each other. You knew that Bridget was his daughter. So Yvette was like, what are you talking about? Like, I can keep a secret. I never told anyone that you wanted to abort Dana, while she says that Dana is walking in the room. So now Dana is pissed because no one wants to hear that their parents wanted to abort them. So basically Yvette got kicked out the house. That's what you get, girl. You're doing too much. She told her you can keep your job, but you can't keep it in my house. So August and Kelvin are out on a date, and it's cute or whatever. He still remembers her favorite book, and her favorite, like all her favorites and stuff like that. So they said they would have a nightcap, but she has to get up early so that she can get ready and get her speech ready for the wine tasting. So for the wine tasting vote. While Kelvin is paying, August gets another phone call from the extortionist that was like, are you getting my money? Or are you out on dates with your little boyfriend? Get my shit and have it by, in the next 2 weeks. So I'm like, what is... I know I said I thought it was Dana. I still kind of think Dana was somehow behind it. But I don't know, because we see on the preview for next week that the winery, the vineyard that Bridget eventually goes to work for, that she interviews for, they're being extorted too. So I don't know who it is, but they're making a killing off of these vineyards. So then we see August is talking to Otis about her father. Otis is the groundskeeper, or the one of the top growers that works out in the field, and he's talking about how Reggie was, like a brother to him. He was stressed, if he couldn't get his good Cubans and stuff like that. So she calls Quincy and it's like, it's not Otis. Like, you can look at this man and tell that it's not him. So Yvette is staying back with Melanie, and she is like the poverty of it all. Meanwhile, Bridget is mad because you live in the living room, which is where she does her painting and her work at. So Yvette tells them, well, I'll be gone soon because I got to go ahead and vote so that we can restore order to the house. And she tells Bridget, you need to be coming and voting too because, this is part of the family. You have to do this as well. Bridget doesn't want to go, but she does. So we see Bridget on this awkward-ass interview with, it looks like a gay couple that owns a vineyard. And they're asking her, like everyone is going to ask, why did you leave? Like, you have made their last 6 or 7 successful wines. Her answer was very PR, very cute. And it was basically, I want to forge my own path. I want to branch out and do what I need to do. So they tell her that they ask about how does she like hand picking? Does she like using the machine? She prefers hand picking because it gives each grape the attention that it deserves, which makes sense, I would think. And then they tell her that they use all organic, and she was like, that's fine. I love organic. But we know that she really wants to be back with the Kings. So it's the wine tasting, and everyone is coming in. Yvette is begging Vanessa to be able to come back, and Vanessa's not going. Yvette, you fucked up. That's basically what it is. But we're not letting you back in just yet. Hell, if Bridget can't get in and she really didn't do nothing, you crossed Vanessa. You really not coming in as quick as you think. So at the wine tasting, they both do their presentations, and it's time to vote. So Christian votes for August. Yvette votes for August. So that's 2 for August right now. Well, and then we know that she's going to vote for herself. So we're at 3 for August. So then we have Vanessa voting for Dana. Bridget voted for Dana, really just out of spite. I don't think that Dana's wine was better. I think Bridget did that out of spite. So we know that Dana, that is going to be 3-3. Well, they're assuming it was going to be 3-3 and that Bridget was going to have the deciding vote. So Bridget voted for Dana, and you can see her like kind of smirk as she does it. It's not about sisterhood. It's not about this. Yes, it is, girl. You salty that August has to be the one to fire you. So she voted for Dana. Dana immediately starts to gloat. All right, I won. Yes. Woo! Like he's geeked. So then Grace asks, well, how come we didn't hear Rose vote? Rose is Dana's wife. And everybody was like, because she always votes for Dana. Like, they're a package, And then Rose was like, wow, Dana's was good. August had better flavors. And she ends up giving her vote to August. So August ends up winning 4-3. So Dana is pissed because he was like, this is not what we do in our family. We vote as a team. And he like goes in on her and is kind of on some, When I found you, you were just a perfume bottle girl, and I saved you. You're only a king because of me. Like, really starting to go in. Meanwhile, they pan over to Bridget, and Bridget, like, low-key looks kind of pissed that August won because she wants to get back at her. On top of the fact that if we got Grace up in here, do they really need me back at this point? So Dana gets mad, runs his little ass out, and I was like, go on and run, because you're doing too much right now. So then at the end, we see Dana is sitting, and the PI comes out to him, and it's like, you know, 2 of the leads that I had came out to be nothing, but I'm gonna make sure I find out what's going on. So then Dana tells the PI, I want you to look up everything you can about August, I'm ready to take my sister down. I'm basically sick of this. And that was how the episode goes off. So they had a wine off. August won because the wine that I think sommelier made was better. Dana's was not as good. So now he's ready to just kind of blow up the spot. And like, I feel like if he had to, he would kill his sister. But that is The King of Napa, Season 1, Episode 3. If you have not already, subscribed to the channel. And I will catch you guys in the next one.